Hi, everybody. So, our favorite astrologer is here again today, and that is Kelley. And I'll have her information below so you can talk to her yourself. So, we're going to talk about the full moon that's coming and the energies. And the energies have been quite wild already. So, a lot of us are purging out third and fourth density programming right now out of the body, and it's an intense experience. So if you need to rest, definitely do it. Some people are choosing not to be here during this time so that there's like a lot of stuff going on and it's kind of chaotic. So just really take care of yourself right now. But we're going to talk about what's coming next. So, how are you, Kelley?
Well, I've been sick for a week, talk about the purging and kind of programming and looking at old stuff and just needing to rest a lot. I've been, just in bed a lot, you know.
Mhm.
So, but it's been good in ways and I couldn't even talk for a couple of days, so here I am. I'm glad I can talk today and
Me
share the
too.
information with you. And yeah, there's some wild times coming up here. We're in wild times, but this full moon is definitely one of the wildest ones, for a while. And we already pretty had an intense new moon 2 weeks ago, and this is the full moon culmination after what's been going on the last 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
here we are. So let's take a look at this. And I just want to start by reminding you what astrology is.
Oh.
And it's an intuitive science, and the art is in the interpretation, and it connects our inner world and our outer world.
Mhm.
There's a dialogue going on there. So astrology doesn't tell you what's going to happen. It's saying, here are the energies. How do you want to engage with them? So it's about connecting heaven and earth, which is, all one in the universal matrix. And it's also an archetypal language of life and soul that opens our imagination to potentials and possibilities of consciousness and experience. It allows us to consider, oh, here's the energies. How could I work with this? What are the possibilities? There's just not one way, especially these days. So I wanted to remind you what astrology is about, and we can work with it. It's a living language, and it's evolving and changing with some of the new discoveries that we're making and the new consciousness that we're rising into also. So taking it from today's the chart for the full moon. This is the month of Scorpio. And so the sun is in Scorpio, and the moon, the full moon, is opposite that in Taurus. And those are two opposite signs. So that is the reflection of the moon taking that sun energy and bringing it to fullness and bringing forward the potential from the opposite sign that is the blossoming. Scorpio is water, which is feeling and passion and intensity. And it's about undercurrents and about the hidden power of water and waterfalls and the down deep diving that we do when we go into our inner world. And Taurus is the manifestation. Taurus is the earth. Taurus is the physicality that is manifesting from the subatomic fields that Scorpio lives in, and in kind of rearranging the molecules and the subatomic particles that make up matter. And so there's this potential alchemy with Scorpio, especially in this month. And whenever their planet's there. And so there's the what do you want to be experiencing? What are some of the deepest desires that are coming up for you in these new times? And what is the current manifestation? There's Taurus. Is it a table? Is it what's going on in your life? What are you seeing in nature? And how is nature evolving in relation to your own consciousness and experience? So this is a collective experience here. So Taurus is the manifestation, and Uranus is the change agent. Uranus is expect the unexpected. Uranus is revolution, it's higher consciousness, it's breakthroughs, it's break frees, it's the wild factor. It's unpredictable. It's fireworks. It's lightning bolts, that take us totally by surprise. Like, how could this absolutely be happening? And we can't argue because it's literal in Taurus. And this is one of the implications of the earth changes that had been going on with Uranus in Taurus, which Uranus takes 7 years to go through a sign. So this was starting in 2018, 2019. And so the moon is plugged in to Uranus, this change agent. And we're already, in a way, expecting that because of, current political activations. But this is like, it's all like popping out. It's all coming out there like wildfire. And
Mhm.
there actually are literal wildfires going on. And there's a star in the sky named Algol that's right here as well. The moon's at 24 Taurus, the Uranus is at 25 Taurus, Algol is at 26 Taurus. A star spends a long time in 1 degree of the zodiac. And so 72 years. So this moon, Uranus, plugged into Algol is huge. And Algol is called the demon star. It's the eye of Medusa in the constellation of Perseus. And we may have mentioned this before in past, videos. But this is, whew, you know, we're looking right into that eye of Medusa here.
Mm.
And it's not pretty, right? We get paralyzed. It's like, whoa, what is happening here? So sometimes we get frozen. Sometimes we get stopped in our tracks. It's like what and isn't that a bit what we're going through? The shocking developments in the world.
Mhm. For a
So
lot of people, very shocking.
for a
Yeah.
lot of people. And and this full moon is full of it, just absolutely full of it.
Yeah. So when you first brought this up, this slide, and you were talking about the full moon and how intense it's going to be, my higher self came in and said, boom, 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 like really low. So we are going to have quite a big time here, which I'm excited for. It's time for that to
Well,
happen.
that's one of the positive Uranus words, excitement, and it's better to be excited than scared or anxious, which sometimes Uranus can feel like as well, because there's a level of tension, a level of electricity that is hard on the nervous system. So this
Mhm.
is, Taurus is about grounding your body, taking your time, steadying the ship, stabilizing your energy.
Mhm.
And amidst, all the earthquakes and tumult and storminess and, everything else that's going on. And the changes that the earth is exhibiting in her awakening. And that's another one of the Uranus words, awakening.
Mhm.
So this is a culmination of quite a period of time. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018, 2019. And I want to share something with you. Let's see what I did next here. Um, so the outer planets, Uranus is one of the three outer planets that takes, well, Uranus takes 84 years to go around the sun and through all the signs. Neptune is one of those, which
Mhm.
takes 165 years and 14 years to go through a sign. And Pluto. Now, Pluto is changing sign. Pluto, this is the last week or so of Pluto in Capricorn
I'm so excited.
for the next couple of centuries.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It goes into Aquarius on the 19th. I'm having trouble with my voice.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of us, I know my husband and I, Pluto is coming out of our sign, and it kind of is like somebody's taking their foot off of you, so you can expand more because Pluto's intense. There's a lot of like intensity about it. And I just like when I reflect back on my life and a lot of our lives actually during this, time on Earth. And I'm in my 50s. So there's been a lot of time where you're just being very quiet about who you are and what you know. And obviously, I'm not quiet anymore, but I just feel like for everybody, that's going to start to really expand. You're
We're
going to be
so
able
glad you're not being quiet, honey.
to, thank you.
In Capricorn, Pluto's flavor is control. It's all the uh, uh, shutting down that we've had,
Mhm,
especially through the COVID times. That was a major, major, control, shutdown. Um, Nobody could speak the truth. There's been, a lot of manipulation and shutting down.
mhm.
So, and it's about the top-down power. Pluto has to do with power. So when Pluto changes sign, and Pluto was in Capricorn starting in 2008.
Yeah.
So going into Aquarius, the power source is going to be different. And it's going to be more Aquarian, more less physical. Capricorn is physical.
Mhm,
This is more energetic, it's more electrical, it's more information based. And it's also more about the social context, the larger global social context is changing. And, it's more about we the people than the people at the top.
yeah.
And Uranus is really accenting the revolutionary aspect of that this this full moon.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, Pluto, you ready to change? Sign now and take us into the new era. So so Pluto in Capricorn, it's an earth sign. Uranus in Taurus, it's an earth sign. And by the way, it rules the throat. So I'm having a little throat trouble here. And then Sun in Scorpio, that's a water sign. And Neptune, one of the other trends of the time planets, is in Pisces, which is a water sign. So the water and the earth signs are being very emphasized right now, and they're very compatible because water, moistens the earth so it's fertile. And earth, kind of contains the water so it doesn't flood, although we're having a lot of floods lately,
Yeah.
um, because Neptune is so strong. It's like, there's almost too much water
Mhm.
or whatever's going on with the waters and the earth freeing up her energy. So that's part of what's going on. And here's more about Uranus. And when I was preparing some slides for y'all, I went back to a slideshow I did in 2018 when Uranus was just starting to go in to Taurus. And here's one of the slides I found. So the Uranus keywords are radical, electrical, sudden change. It has a lot to do with technology. And by the way, so does Aquarius. And Uranus is one of the rulers of Aquarius. So it's really supporting the new Pluto era. Uranus is very inventive. It's eccentric. It's about the higher mind that has an ability to step back and be able to see what's going on from a much broader perspective, be it historic or consciousness wise. So it's Uranus represents what's awakening in the collective consciousness. So in Taurus, it's been more about earth, more about the energy of the earth. It's a very grounded sign, like deeply rooted trees. It wants to stabilize. It's tactile. It loves touch and texture and textiles and feeling things and the good things in life. It's hands-on. That's how Taurus learns. It's like, don't try to tell me, like, show me. Um, it's about stability and what is going to last in the long run. It's about security, again, in those same terms, in the long run. It likes steadiness, it's reliable, it's patient and persistent. And it's about being productive. Taurus wants to have something to show for what it's done. It wants to get its arms around it, as they say. It's a tree hugger sign. It's about our values and what's worth it. Not
Mhm.
not just in the short term, but in the long term. Cutting down a forest in the long run is not very smart.
Mm-mm.
And it's about our resources and about our finances. And Taurus is one of the money signs, money being an asset, but it's also about like real estate. It's also about um, what has real value, tangible assets,
Mhm.
not just, you know, money in the bank. That isn't really a tangible asset. It's just a number on the screen.
Mhm.
So the revolution since 2018 has been getting more aware of long-term value and what is going to have that long-term value. So it's definitely getting toward the end of Taurus here, and it's actually going to change sign, start to change sign next summer and go into Gemini. So we're getting toward the end of Taurus here. Pluto's already just about changing sign, and um, and so is Uranus just about to change sign. So this is it. We're working on the last bits of this stabilizing long-term stability, with the earth changes going on, with the financial system changing, and that is definitely more of the activity we're going to see on this full moon, more of that change in the financial system. And this is like, this is storminess. This is could be crashing. This is, unexpected. This is like what just happened kind of energy. And so,
Perfect.
in terms of the processes, how do we respond to unexpected situations and circumstances? And how many people have had to leave their homes at a moment's notice? How have we had to change the way we live through COVID? How are we defining what's valuable? The basics in life, food, shelter, clothing, water, so how do we use and harvest our resources? How do we make them sustainable? and what is the social change developments that we have been working toward here. And
Mhm.
when Uranus is in Taurus, Earth changes, Earth quakes. So there we are. So one of the questions I came up with way back then is, what would you take with you if you had to evacuate immediately? And oh, I look what I said. If you had to evaluate immediately, that's funny. Very, very relevant. What are the things that, are most important to you?
Mhm.
So that's part of, we're getting to the culmination of this. We're getting to we can't hold on any longer to all the stuff. And Uranus in Taurus is about freeing ourselves up from all the stuff that
Mhm.
sometimes we base our lives on, and
Right.
like having money in the bank. Like, what does it matter if you have a whole lot of money in the bank if you can't access it or if you don't have food?
Yep.
So that kind of thing. So the last time Uranus was in Taurus was during the Dust Bowl, during the Great Depression. And during that time, the agriculture system was changing, and the Midwest was going into big farming. And they pulled out a lot of the prairie grasses
Mhm.
that stabilized the earth in order to make farms. And that created the Dust Bowl and a
Yep.
lot of dismay, a lot of devastation. And that was mainly Uranus was in Taurus from 1934 to 1941. So that was the peak of that last time. And we don't have to do it the same way, but we're certainly looking at agricultural practices again. We've had a lot of small farms develop, more organic food attention, and that's ramping up, with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., kind of talking about all of this. So that's part of what this full moon is revealing more about.
Mhm.
Now, Uranus is in a sign for 7 years. So we all have our own Uranus in a particular sign that makes us part of a second 7 year generation that has a certain agenda for social change. So the people who were born in that period of 1935 to 42, approximately, there's a little change on either end there, have been having their Uranus return, which means they've been turning, 84. And next year we start into the Uranus and Gemini people that started in 1942-ish and go into 1949, my year. But I'm one of the next ones, the Uranus and Cancer people. But
Mhm.
it's like your agenda becomes different, you know? So if you have Uranus in an earth sign, it's about tangibility. In Taurus, it's the tangible assets. In Virgo, it's about health. It's about our interaction with nature and natural rhythms and timing and how our body is part of nature. And this generation that has Uranus and Virgo from most of the 60s brought in a lot of alternative health modalities and had specific health issues because their bodies had to be reminded to honor natural systems.
Mhm.
And we had people born with Uranus and Capricorn in Earth sign, and that was 1988 to 1995 approximately. And so that is, they're born and the systems are not working for them. And so they find like, okay, well, this system needs to be changed. And they also have a lot of planets in Capricorn, a lot of these people. So they've also been, so to speak, suffering, but really looking at stuff, really examining things in this Pluto and Capricorn era to be able to take on their power and say, okay, the system has never worked for us. We're not going to buy into it anyway. So they're also getting ready to they've been gearing up. Those that are awake enough to do so. Because sometimes we're I don't know, almost like uh, um, how we're conditioned. This
Hmm.
has to do with how we're conditioned and how we need to break free of that conditioning. So Uranus and Cancer people are, well, let's go back to the Uranus and Gemini people are about information. They're about what's the latest thing. They're curious. They want to know what's the latest thing. And so this is coming out again starting next year. There's going to be all kinds of new things out there that are new inventions and exciting and maybe we're heading into space and whatever else the technologies are going to offer us. And these people are going to either remain open and have some fun, or it's like they're not going to be open to it. And that would be sad because Gemini looks for options. So Uranus and Cancer people are about the community makers. They like to weave their inner circles. They like to make personal connections. They're about home and family and how we live together in community. So this has been a time when Uranus and Cancer people have been, maybe, starting farms and feeding people and doing whatever else can be of service that is needed out there. They have a finger on that pulse.
Hmm.
Pluto and Leo people are very creative. They're the ones who like, I'm going to be me no matter what anybody says, free to be me, kind of energy and very creative. They have a lot of creative verve and excitement and energy. Um, I talked about the Pluto and Virgo people that are ready for the next, level of health and wellness. Even as nature is changing, they're really feeling it. Their bodies do adapt if they listen. If they listen. So Pluto, I mean Uranus and Libra people are people, and they're about how do we make relationship? How do we listen to another person? How do we find a win-win in a situation rather than arguing about it or being on different sides of the fence? The Libra can be the peacemaker. It can be the negotiator. So these people are coming into a time when their talents along that line can to get along with people and really listen to people can really be used. And then we have Uranus and Scorpio people that 1976 to 1980 who are the people who, oh, and let me back up because you're one of those Uranus and Libra people, right, honey?
Yeah.
So you talk to a lot of people. You're interested in all kinds of ideas and how to bring people together.
Hmm.
Now, Pluto and Scorpio, Uranus and Scorpio people are interested in the psychological dynamics and what's going on under the surface, and they have that capacity to go down to that subatomic underworld and change things. Scorpio is about that subatomic alchemy. That when we change what's going on beneath the surface, and that includes in our psychology, then the outer manifestation is going to change. But we've got to do that inner work, and Uranus and Scorpio people recognize that, and they get excited about it.
Hmm.
Now, Uranus and Sagittarius people are love to travel. They are out and about. They are adventurers. They are like, extreme sports people sometimes. They're gonna hop on the spaceships as soon as they get a chance. You know, they're also their intuition is really heightened. Sagittarius just knows things. How do you know it? I don't know. It's like you have a very amazing intuitive capacity because you've connected with that Uranian higher mind knowing.
Hmm.
And it comes to just this almost like imagination, intuition, imagination, inspiration. Those are very Sagittarian things. And so Uranus and Sagittarius people can be like, come on, everybody, we can do this. Now, Uranus and Capricorn people, are part of this, millennial generation that, are really, they've learned the hard way that the system doesn't work for them and they're going to change it up. And they probably have some good ideas going forward that are earth honoring and working with the systems of the earth and the sacred geometries of the earth to design new systems. And this is what they can be really good at on whatever level they're working. Now, Uranus and Aquarius people are definitely, really getting ready for this new Pluto and Aquarius era. And they're going to be some of the leading like community developers.
Hmm.
You know, they can be working on a lot of levels in the social texture, and they want everybody involved when there's the like-minded energy of teamwork with others.
Yeah.
um, Uranus and Pisces are amazingly sensitive. Well, let me go back to the Uranus and Aquarius for a moment because I heard about this young boy who has that placement, and he likes to going to the beach, and when he's on the beach he's going to go around and talk to everybody and just kind of create a beach community through his own interaction with everybody.
Hmm.
That's a beautiful example. And to some extent, Uranus and Pisces people have that too, but they're more feeling oriented, more they want they're going to feel things that other people aren't tuned into.
Yeah.
So they're on the frequencies. They're very tuned into frequencies, and this might be part of what they are working with say the Piscean arts and music and the energy that they're tuning into and that they hear too.
Hmm.
They hear the angels. And then we have Uranus and Aries people, which are definitely wild ones, very innovative, new ideas popping out all over the place, and they can't do them all, so they need to share all these ideas. Now, Uranus can be a little hard on the nervous system, especially in certain signs like Gemini, like Pisces, like Aries is like lightning bolts every minute. So I'm just giving a few clues as to what your Uranus generation is about and recognizing that the times are changing and that you're getting ready to offer more of what you have from your own generational experience and calling of your generation.
Hmm. So before you go to that next slide, the kids that are coming in right now, so the 2018 to 2025, those kids are anchoring in New Earth.
Yeah.
So they are so strong and so solid. And those Aries kids that came right before that, like they are wild and they will not. I don't think that any of those kids are going to allow you to squash who they are.
I will
So,
not comply.
yeah, they will not comply. So they're really paving the way for the babies that are here right now and still coming in and creating the energy that those babies are going to need to basically anchor in the new earth.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of beautiful how everything is synchronized and is supporting the energy that's
Yeah.
coming next. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in Aries is a very, it's a sign of like integrity. I've got to be me. I can't be anybody else, and this is who I am, and that's who I am.
Yep.
So it's beautiful, and it helps balance out the Libra opposite sign tendency to accommodate other people for the sake of harmony. And it's like, okay, can't do that all the time. I've got to be clear about where I am. And that's it. I am. So yeah, and this is every sign, the one that follows it helps make up for its downside. So, like Pisces can be so compassionate and can give way and bend over backwards more than most signs. And there's Aries, not me. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
No, fire, I'm standing up. So and then there's the Aries often doing it. And then it's like Taurus is like steady as she goes here, like just ground yourself so it happens. Don't go off on wild tangents of ideas, just get it together. And so we all have all of the signs, but the generational makeup, both through the Uranus, but also through Pluto generations and the Neptune generations, is very interesting to know about for yourself, and helps to explain why, even when you're a couple of years different than, in age from somebody, they could be a whole different generation in terms of the planets.
Yep. Totally.
So, yeah, Uranus. I thought, this is so Uranian moment here. Um, and it's wild card time.
Hmm.
So, and there's the Earth coming up with her changes. And it's like we're gonna know that we're gonna need to move. We're gonna need to make movement. And when Uranus goes into Gemini next summer, just as a start, there's gonna be more movement.
Oh, yeah. So
And
much.
Neptune is changing sign also in at the end of March, going into Aries. This is like all these three outer planets are changing sign in a row, like really fast.
Hmm.
So yeah, change is ramping up. And this is like, it's like roller coaster rides with Uranus. And it's getting to like we're almost right, we're at a peak, we're at a crescendo, we're at the top of like the longest drop in the roller coaster, so anyway, that's
Good
why they
stuff.
say buckle your seatbelts or whatever. But
Yes.
it's more like grounding, feeling your steadiness in your body, in the earth, and really help your body through this.
Hmm.
There's more suggestions to that, which in part we've been looking at for a while. And that has to do with this dynamic that has all of these 90-degree angles that are activations. And they're all in what are called mutable signs, which are flexible, changeable signs. We have to be really flexible these days. So Saturn is in Pisces, and it's one of the big lessons that we're learning right now, whenever Saturn is in a sign. So we're learning how to be fluid, how to kind of navigate this fluid reality, and also, not try to resist, the way the water's moving. If we try to dam it up, we're going to have more problems later. So we just need to channel it. We just need to find our navigation system and kind of keep our energy field clear. Um, because so I have here also belief systems challenged.
Hmm.
And that goes along with one of the main things that's going on this year between Saturn and Jupiter, which has to do with belief systems. and Jupiter's in Gemini, which is all kinds of information. You know, there's misinformation, disinformation, real information, temporary information, this kind of idea, that kind of idea. It's like overload. And it's like, what do we believe? And this is another kind of navigation of quieting our monkey mind that can get all over the place and just like, okay, hold on a minute. What's what is going on here? Does this ringing true for me or not? Now we've been looking at this dynamic for several months, and it's got a nuance this month with the planet Mercury in Sagittarius, which heightens that questioning of what is true and also heightens our intuitive capacity to recognize what is true for you. This is definitely the higher intuitive capacity, you know, that we all have, but this Sagittarian energy here is really work it. This is such a Uranian higher mind moon that is breaking free of old stuck paradigms in
Mhm.
Taurus. It's always been this way, yes, but it's not now, and it's not going to be. The paradigm is shifting. What is opening up for you? What is the vision you want to hold, that you want to kind of keep your eye on and follow in that direction? And that's what Sagittarius is about. It's the direction finder. It's like the compass. I'm heading in that direction. I don't want to get too distracted over here. I don't need all that different information right now. You know, if I needed that information, I'll take it, you know, when I need it. But right now I'm good. You know, I'm listening to my intuition. And if I start doubting myself, maybe I need to do a little fact checking.
Mhm.
So, or talk to somebody, but I've got to like trust my sources. You know, I've got to kind of, you know, anybody could say anything. It's like, you know, Gemini is a good salesman. You know, it's like they could talk you into anything.
Mhm.
So it's like, watch what, you know, what they're trying to sell you. So this is very fast-paced changes. It's kaleidoscopic options. Like there's always, and that can be positive because if you're going in a direction and you meet like a bit of a stumbling block, it's like, okay, there's another option then. Like if you get laid off unexpectedly, oh, well, there's got to be more options. This Saturn saying that's enough of that. No more of that. You know, okay? Because you're ready to move on. And this is being willing to lean in to the new direction and to work with the Aries energy that's part of our leading edge right now, newness in highlighting what is right for you. And things are falling away. Things are unexpectedly, you know, falling apart. The old systems. And it's time for that. And it's just, you know, can be very challenging to a sense of security. But, you know, security is not by keeping the old things going. It's not by, you know, hugging your old teddy bear. It's like, you know, you've got to, you know, be practical. You've got to, you know, Saturn's about maturity and growing up and taking responsibility. You can't depend on somebody else to do that for you. So this is, you know, a kind of upgrade in consciousness, but it's also a level of responsibility.
Mhm.
And then we get this fourth corner here. We need the fourth corner for everything to kind of come together. You know, you can't put up the next floor unless you have the foundation with all four corners. So this is where Virgo is. So this goes back to the taking care of your body. You need your body to be in good working order. and you might need to make some changes in your diet, in, what you're doing with your body to kind of keep up with some of the subtle changes going on, the frequency changes going on. You might need things to help, kind of just calm your nervous system. What do you need to do for yourself and your health regimes that are going to just make at least little improvements to help you get through the day and set your priorities. You need to make time to eat well, for
Mhm.
instance. And you need to look at the quality of the food that you're eating. So, this is part of what Virgo is about, taking care of the body, particularly the nervous system and your digestion. And Orcus is the Kuiper belt, then one of these new objects out there that's the oath maker and the oath breaker. And this is where we're examining those old programs that we bought into, and they're not working anymore. They're not appropriate anymore. So, this is claiming our own priorities by listening to our bodies. Our bodies have this gut level instinct, and they know our bodies are really intelligent, and
Mhm.
our minds can mess up with that. We get these ideas, and those ideas, drop in to the heart and the gut. And the gut being, this deep knowledge that arises from the some a deep well, if we go to the lower chakra, this is the one so connected to the earth and
Mhm.
to stability. So this is one of the patterns. And then just before I'm getting ready to meet with you, honey, there was another one I found that I thought I must share this.
Okay.
So this is what else is in Scorpio. So this is called Black Moon. Sometimes people call it Lilith. Um, I've written a lot about it. I'd rather call it the deep soul mysteries. And
Mhm.
this is that place in you that is where your soul spark lives, and tuning into that soul spark source in you. And it's in Scorpio with one of these other new objects being discovered in the sky, which we have talked about before, named Haumea, who's the Hawaiian goddess of childbirth. So
Mhm.
she's the birthing goddess, and she's at 2 degrees of Scorpio. And this is the true black moon at 0 Scorpio. So this alignment is tuning us into that soul spark, that soul desire that is gestating deep inside us now, and gestating what is going to come forward, and alchemizing what is not going to come forward, and reworking those subatomic fields again in in through the quantum field of tapping into something that's truer inside ourselves, that is coming into our awareness through this inner journey and inner tapping into the soul spark. And I figured you'd have a good amount to say about that.
Yeah, so we're kind of letting go of the 3D and the 4D programming in the body. So, and it depends on what timeline you're in, like how much of that you're letting go of right now. But if you're feeling kind of cranky or under the weather, or you're going through drama even, you're letting go of that right now, and it's coming to the surface to be released, and your soul is getting to basically have more room inside of you. So your higher self, that fractal of your oversoul, is getting more and more integrated in your body. And it's birthing a new you, you
Oh,
know. So Haumea is birthing a new you, but also birthing a new way that we live on Earth. So it's kind of a new Earth to us. And Earth has been ascending for a while now, and she's fifth density. And it's just the mind that is catching up to it, the human mind. And it's really a beautiful thing that's happening right now. And that's what you see when the old systems are crumbling. That means that we're birthing something new. That crumble is basically, we're going to come out of that crumble like a phoenix.
oh.
So the rubble, we're just going to, come out of that rubble and rise like a phoenix. And that's what we're doing right now. We're in the middle of that process. And that's why it's so intense.
Process is a great Scorpio word. And the black moon requires radical trust in that process. That's very subterranean. This is not even subterranean. It's like this is water. We're diving very deep to the deeper, waters.
Yeah.
And this is of memory. This is of resources or sources inside ourselves that haven't been tapped for quite a while.
Hmm.
And this would be part of the re-arising of ancient this and that, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
And old illnesses are popping up to be
yeah.
released. So, and water is consciousness. So that's the symbol for consciousness. So it's really all very symbolic and amazing right now.
Yes, and we're getting all these clues, right? Through even Saturn shaping the water in Pisces, like showing us these the distortions in some of the patterns. And we can't take things too personally.
Mhm.
It's this is the higher mind is is not the ego mind. It's not the day-to-day mind. It's the one that has the overview of where this fits in to the larger picture and how all of these different things are flowing away like debris, kind of and revealing things. That there was something you had on your telegram where a beautiful old wooden carved statue like was
Oh, yeah.
was like the water pushed it up onto the shore.
Mhm.
This amazing like like deity kind of wise looking statue just emerged onto the island.
Yeah.
Love
It's
that.
no accident. Like we're we're also going to see what has come before that's been hidden.
Yeah.
And that's like, of such a strong deity that washed up. So the face was so strong. It was like a really it was kind of like a totem
It
is what.
looked Inuit
Yeah.
to me, or Arctic,
Mhm.
or well, at least, you know, Polynesian maybe. I don't quite know, but it was very, very evocative.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, I'd love to know where you found that and be able to share that somehow.
Mhm. I'll try and share that with you. Yeah,
Anyway,
it's just really cool right
and
now.
that's it. These things are emerging, and even from earthquakes, the splits in the earth, and like, wow, well, look what's down there. It's like the discoveries with this Uranus are going to be rather mind-blowing, you know,
Mhm.
and that's great. It's so much more than we can think it is, you know.
Yeah. Yep. There's so much right now.
And this is
ET
going to
stuff,
flow through the
all
next
kinds
two
of stuff.
weeks of the waning moon. And then
Mm,
we get to another new moon and see what that's about.
yeah.
So, yeah, but this is a lot going on in these next couple of weeks that is a follow-up to this is this rather, kind of wild card moon, that is a globe changer.
Hmm. Yeah. It's exciting. Just, taking care of yourself during this time is really huge. And being flexible during
Yes.
this time is really huge because,
Absolutely. That's
yeah.
that all those squares require mutability, mental, emotional, on the ground, and
Mhm.
also in terms of like, your vision, in terms of that intuition. Keep listening. Keep listening. Things are moving and shifting and changing. So look for your best path forward, and lean into it. This is not time to sit back. This is like go for it. Make the changes that you need to make. This is the time where a lot can change. So take advantage.
Yep. So good. So
Yeah.
good.
Uh, yeah, these are two photographs from my photography friend Jim Eaton took that I thought were so cool because they're actually uh, reflections of boat masts on the water.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hard to figure that out when you're looking at them.
No kidding. Yeah, they do look like lightning too.
What do they call it? Bottled lightning
Yeah. Yeah, they look like lightning. So fun. And
in the
we're
waters.
really dealing with a lot of elemental stuff right now that's really shifting everything,
Mhm.
stirring up the energy.
Well, and that's in part because of the waves of fluid plasma coming in.
Hmm.
Basically, the etheric field, the quantum field
Yeah.
that is gives rise to all of the elements. So these waves of light are lighting up all of the elements and changing the texture, the very makeup of life
Yeah.
here now.
Cleaning up all those layers. So good. Thank you, Kelly. This was fun. This was really good for everybody. I feel like just to kind of, you don't have to pay attention to so much of this outside stuff. Work with yourself more over these next couple of weeks because there's going to be so much going on outside of you that is needed to change for a really long time. Just let it change and do your own stuff and release your own stuff as we go through this process because it's going to be big for everybody. We're all
Yeah.
going to be shifting.
And maintain a positive mindedness
Mhm.
because this is going to be good for everybody.
Very.
And if you're having a hard time believing that, just try. Just imagine this is for the best.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the universe is benevolent and therefore your, you know, higher evolution or well-being or whatever? Or do you believe there's a monster out there waiting to get you? Are you coming from love or are you coming from fear? And that's a choice we make.
It is. And everybody's going to be making choices and let people make their choices. Don't try and interfere with them and just love them and let them choose what they want. If they ask you for something, you can help them with that thing, but don't get sucked into somebody else's choice right now. really
Exactly.
think about your own stuff and releasing things that no longer serve you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And look for beauty, increase the
Yeah.
beauty in life. That's part of Taurus too. Taurus and is ruled by Venus, which is about beauty and abundance and delight and joy. You know,
Yeah.
find
And it's
it.
an
Work with.
amazing time that we've been kind of waiting for a very long time. So enjoy the moments of it and flow with it. Yeah.
Yay,
Thank
we're here together
you.
doing this. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kelley. Was there anything else that you wanted to say before
Oh,
we?
I think that's enough for now. And
Okay.
yeah, I always enjoy this. It's good for me too. That's why I do this, right? And like, okay, what is going on? What are the energies? How can I use them? How can I work with this? I'm right in the middle of all those red squares. I'm like, I'm needing to remind myself, to keep positive minded and not get all worried and know that it's going to work out fine and make sure I'm on a positive wavelength moving forward in the changes and choices that I'm making. So important to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah,
Don't make choices out of fear or, it's so easy to do or get pulled back into that. That's the old way.
it is. It's the old way. Okay. It looks like, oh, there we are. Looks like something happened. So, anyway, you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. We really appreciate you and we wish you the absolute best on your journey that is going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. So, it will be really good. Yeah. Thank you, Kelley.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
honey.
much. Okay. Bye, everybody.